To celebrate the 15th anniversary of Ninjago, LEGO came out with the Ninja Anniversary display. Now originally I was extremely mixed on this set, and honestly maybe even a little disappointed, but as time passes and I had time to process those feelings, I realized I actually really liked this set, minus a couple issues which we'll get into in just a second. So starting off with the instruction booklet, it's actually pretty neat because they introduce you to the monastery as a location, as well as show you comparisons of the original ZX Ninja and the newer editions. Now getting into those figures, which will definitely be a huge draw for a lot of people deciding if they want this set or not, let's start off with Nia. Nia as Samurai X is good from what I can see. It's basically the original design with more detail. However, the armor piece just isn't selling it for me. It doesn't really recreate the nostalgia or memories that I saw with the original Samurai X. Moving on, we have Lloyd, and overall I think this figure works. When I see this, it basically recreates those memories. As someone who didn't have the original ZX Lloyd figure, I appreciate this a lot. However, the green eyes really takes me out. Everything else is fine. They changed those tiny silver stars on his torso to tiny gold stars so that the gold armor lines up. But again, the green eyes just really take me out. So if you do get the set and you have the original head, definitely try swapping it out. I think it looks a lot better. Now Master Wu is where the figures start getting really good in this set. This figure accurately captures every feeling when I originally saw the pilots and a little bit of season 1. The tan walking stick is something they haven't done much for Wu, but I realize now that's the accurate color. They've never actually done it properly in this color before, or from what I remember at least. Next up we have Jay, who I was crashing out over. However, when I do look at this figure, I can relate to what I saw in the show, and that is the most important thing here. Even though the armor is completely the wrong color, I think the reason they might have made everyone gold was to make a more unified look, and I agree, it does look pretty good when they're all together on the Ninja Anniversary display with all their gold armor. So I can understand why they did this, and for characters like Lloyd and Cole, who also swap from silver to gold, right? I think gold makes more sense for them because Lloyd obviously eventually ended up being the golden ninja, so a little bit of gold in his armor and his green ninja suit makes total sense. And then Cole and gold is just something they do nowadays for the modern seasons of Ninjago. Then we have Zane, who, let me tell you, I am so surprised how well they did it. First of all, the torso prints, everything is pretty accurate minus a couple line work changes, but they actually made a new face. Thank God they didn't make the blue eyes face. I really wish Lloyd got this treatment too, but they even have the half robot face. I don't have that. So like just having this is super awesome, and that simple Zane face just takes me back to the older days when Zane was such a peak character, right? He was dancing with the Falcon. What a character back then. And our last figure is our 15th anniversary collectible, being Liber, Jay's mom, who looks fantastic. I love owning this figure. Even the face expression, you look at that and you're like, yep, that's Jay's mom. A couple minor nitpicks I have is that the gold armor on their ninja hoods ends up continuing all the way back and becoming a knot, which doesn't make much sense to me because it's metal, right? Why would you tie it? I wish that was just the color of the rest of the hood. It would have kind of made the figure a lot better for me. But the return of the original elemental symbols is actual peak. For some reason, Kai's symbol doesn't line up with the armor, which is odd. Cole's scythe is definitely an interesting decision. Looking back between the actual model and the build they have here, proportions wise, this is the best they could have done probably with standard pieces. But the crystallized one is way better. This was always going to be a downgrade if they didn't have the budget for a new mold. So if you have that one, swap it out and the display gets like 10 times better. Kai's sword and Zane's shurikens stay the same, but Jay's nunchucks, they use a smaller chain, which actually feels pretty good because you can swing the nunchucks around a lot like what he does in the show. Moving on to the actual Ninja Anniversary display, they provide these little transparent pieces all around so that you can display your ninja jumping out, and it looks great when you put all of them and you just get to embrace the glory of all these remakes and the legacy of Ninjago. The black, red, and gold stand on the bottom was a great idea because now you can connect the rest of the 15th anniversary figures you collect and connect those to this display. So it becomes the centerpiece of having collected the 15th anniversary figures, which I think elevates both the collection a lot more as well as this set a lot more. Really odd detail here with how they make you build the display stand is that there's no actual way to attach the Liber 15th anniversary display to this set because the pins are completely on the wrong side. So if you did attach her, then she would be facing backwards. It's an easy fix, right? You just take out the side with the pins and the side with the holes, and all of a sudden you can put the 15th anniversary Liber the right way on, but it's just odd that they make you build it in a way where you just can't attach it the right way. This set is filled with so many amazing building techniques. There's a stone lantern that's built upside down. The staircase leading up to the doors is very satisfying, and funny enough, the doors don't actually close all the way. There's a little gap, and I think the reason the doors are built like this is to have a little bit of forced perspective. I was looking at my original Legacy Monastery's doors and yeah, it does look like, okay, we're forcing our eyes to make sure the doors always look like they're kinda opening. And then the main monastery walls are actually scaled to a figure almost exactly like they would be in the animation, which is pretty cool. Again, it really makes you feel a lot more immersed, even though this isn't the whole monastery. And finally, one of my favorite details is the tea room on the bottom floor, where we have a mural of the battle between brothers. And this is just so cool. You can have Wu and a ninja just sitting down here talking about this story that took place before time had a name, right? And that is just chef's kiss on top of an already really good build. I don't know the official price yet, but it's rumored to be $45 when it comes out, and I think that is just about right. A little bit lower is always better, but $45 for all these figures, and also like a very substantial build. This isn't just a figure pack. I feel satisfied with that. Thank you very much for LEGO sending me this set to review, and as usual, I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.